Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. There's so many things I could talk about today. I don't even know what direction I'm going to go in. To be honest, I actually filmed, this is Friday, I'm filming this on Friday like I usually do. It's 4:41 in the afternoon, and yesterday I actually filmed a bunch of things. I filmed 3 Ask a Crafters from the last batch of questions. I need to put up a new post in the community tab for the next batch of questions because I've just used those up. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. So I filmed those, and I also filmed my sat chat because I knew today was going to be really busy and I didn't want to be distracted, and I wanted to really focus on my daughter. One of my daughters had her driver's test today, and I didn't want to be having to do a bunch of things and then run late or forget to bring something, or all of that. And it was kind of one of those middle of the day appointments, so it's like it's not really enough time to get much done before, and then like you get late into the day and then your energy's kind of drooping and you're wilted and you just don't feel like bringing it. And so I was just like, I'll film it Thursday and then I'll be all set. Although one of the topics I talked about yesterday, things drastically changed, so I had to refilm it because I'd be putting out incorrect information that was correct yesterday that is not correct today. But we'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, my poor sweet girl did not pass her driver's test. And if you've ever been a 16-year-old girl who has failed her driver's test, you know what a devastating and horrendous experience it is. I was a 16-year-old girl when I failed my driver's test, and it was just awful. I remember just feeling so like disappointed and ashamed and stupid, and I was just beating myself up. I was inconsolable. I was bawling. I was a mess. And I was very superstitious, and when I was a teenager, I'd heard that if your dad brings you to take your driver's test, you're going to pass. And so I asked my dad to take me, and I was driving my mother's boat of a station wagon. It was like a Caprice Classic. I could barely see over the steering wheel. I was not in any way, shape, or form qualified to have a driver's license, and I failed. Of course, I thought I was just fine driver, fine and dandy. If I didn't pass my license, I was obviously, it was the instructor didn't like me or whatever. But yeah, I just know that just pit of your gut awful feeling. So she's feeling much better now. We did console her. My other daughter has her test next week, so we'll see how that goes. I know something like 46% of people fail their driver's test the first time, so the odds are the odds, right? So it's just hard. You don't like to see your kids disappointed like that, but you also want them to be safe, and you want to make sure that if they aren't ready, then they have a little more time, a little more practice. Kids today, though, they have to have 70 hours of driving time before they can even test. So no, it's just a bummer. It's just a bummer end of a week. Yeah, I was just I felt so bad for her, and I was feeling frustrated for her, and I couldn't even find a pair of earrings that matched, so I'm just like, I'm just doing it. I'm just gonna film and do it again. So the reason I have to film again is because the video I filmed yesterday for Sat Chat, I talked about a company that I never talk about because I don't like this company. And I've recently been asked a lot, it's like, how come you never use products from blah, blah, blah? And it's like, oh, because fool me once, shame on me, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, right? So, so the company in question, I do want to talk about this because I think it's really important to, when we're going to purchase something big for our hobby, or for anything really, but for our hobby, we really want to think about, the long-term costs and the long-term usage of a product, how much we're going to use it, and we'll be able to do what we want to do, and to understand the terms of the product or service that we are purchasing. So if you've been online on YouTube in any crafty circles, you've probably heard of the big what do I call it? The bad choices of the Cricut company. They a week ago, it was actually a week ago today, I guess that they were going to update their online software. So if you buy, my Cricut machines are legacy. They're old. I have the original personal cutter that came from a dealer, and I have the original Expression that came from a dealer. And back then, they were quite expensive, especially if you bought them from a dealer. And then shortly after the Expression came out, I think, these machines started showing up in the big box stores for less than what the dealers could buy them for. And it was like, I was kind of like, that's not right. Because I was friends with some, scrapbook store owners. I'm like, that's not right for them to be selling it for less than what you can buy it for. Well, it turns out a lot of these machines, kind of like sewing machines, they weren't great quality. A lot of them were dead in the box. There were a lot of problems with the machines. I kind of felt bad for these store owners So that kind of like made me feel a little icky about the company, but my machines worked fine because I had good ones. They're still running today. But I didn't feel that great about the company. But the reason I have two, I had the first one, and I noticed there was a USB port in the back of it back when I first got it, and I thought, gee, I wonder if there's a way to cut your computer fonts with this, because the cartridges were $90 a piece, and not that I want. And I did purchase a few. One came with it. And then I ended up, there was a store called Custom Crops that had, it's now Hallmark Scrapbook. They had some, they were great, they're still a great store. They had some deal where you could buy, the cartridges were $40 there. So, and Cricut had a deal where buy two, get one free. So I bought two that I liked there, and I picked from one of the free ones from Cricut. I might have done that twice. So I have like 20 bucks a cartridge. Was it 20? Yeah, actually got three for, I was getting three cartridges for $80 after it was all said and done. So would that be 20? No, it'd be more like $27 a piece. But anyways, I'm like, yeah, these, and they had a lot of things on it, and I was cutting, and they cut, and they were good. So I was happy to buy that. And I kept Googling, like every week I kept Googling how to cut fonts with your Cricut machine. And while I was Googling that, I kept reading these message boards and people saying that the software, the Cricut machine is on open source software, so somebody could design programs for this. So Cricut used software that programming that already existed to put into their machines. And when you use that open source software, this open source programming, you have to, that means other people can also build upon it, and other people can design for it and design software programs to work on open source machinery, I guess. I'm not techie, but several companies came out with software that you could cut with your Cricut machines. I thought that was great. So I got Shortcuts a Lot software, and I just loved it. It was so easy to use. I was using my personal cutter with that. I was designing my own SVG files and using the fonts on my computer. All was fine and dandy. Of course, Cricut didn't like that, and so they had a software too that you could download onto your computer. You could use it for free with a cartridge that came with your machine, or you'd pay, I can't remember what it was, maybe like 60 bucks, and then you could design with other cartridges, but you could only cut with the cartridges that you owned. So when you wanted to cut a project, you had to keep like taking a cartridge out, putting another cartridge in, taking a cartridge out, putting it, as it got to that part of the design. It was very clunky and weird. So like they designed these other products, like these towers, I think it was called like a jukebox or something. I never bought one, but you could put your cartridges in it and hook that all to your machine so you wouldn't have to do that. And then they came out with a Gypsy, which I did purchase, or actually I asked for that for Christmas for my husband. And you could put all of your cartridges, you could store your cartridges on this little thing, this little handheld, like tablet-y device, and then you could design on that and you could cut with your Cricut machine. And I thought that was great. So I got one of those, I put all my cartridges on that, and then after I got the Shortcuts a Lot software, I thought, oh, I want to get one of those bigger machines. And they had just come out with the Expression. And so, so I got the Expression, and I started actually designing SVG templates to sell in my shop. And it was great. I was designing boxes and party cuts, like cupcake wrappers and buntings and banners and things like that. It was a lot of fun, stuff I like to do anyway, but it was great because I could cut it on my Cricut. And I wouldn't have gotten that big machine if it wasn't for Shortcuts a Lot software. Well, eventually, because Cricut would keep updating their firmware for their Gypsy, that little handheld thing, and their software that you could download, so that it would change the inner workings of the machine so it wouldn't work with Shortcuts a Lot. So it was kind of like a back and forth. You always have to upgrade and upgrade and upgrade and upgrade to get it to work. And it's finally, I'm like, I'm not upgrading my I'm not hooking my machine to the internet anymore. I'm just going to leave it as it is. It's working with my Shortcuts a Lot. It's working with my Gypsy. That's fine. I'm not going to buy any more cartridges, so I don't have to worry about updating my Gypsy. They, by the way, just stopped supporting the Gypsy and that old software and the old machines, so it doesn't really matter because they stopped supporting all that stuff anyway. I can use it however I please. But then they started like trying to sue these companies, and some other companies had come out in the meantime, and one of the other companies, not Shortcuts a Lot, and if I was ever to buy another die cutter that I wanted to hook to my computer, I would make sure it would run on Shortcuts a Lot because I know how to use that, and I like that company and I like that software. But another company made it somehow possible that you could, they said back up your Cricut cartridges, but they said only do this for ones you own. So they somehow did something where they were capturing the images from Cricut cartridges, which is not cool. I mean, that is IP theft. That's not cool. I don't support that. I don't stand by that. I can understand how Cricut went after them. And I can understand how they, I don't know if they took them to court and won, or if the company just like backed off. But maybe they won a case. I'm not sure, because once they backed off and stopped making their stuff compatible with Cricut, then Sure Cuts a Lot backed off, and then they just redesigned a whole new software, so they wouldn't update that and give people and make people lose their access, which I thought was really good. The other one, they had to like completely wipe it and make sure that none of the programs would work with Cricut anymore. So anyway, it's a long story, but that really ticked me off when they bullied Sure Cuts a Lot into not being Cricut compatible because they hadn't done anything wrong. It was open source. It was an open source software that Cricut was built on. They built their software legally to be compatible with it. There was nothing illegal done there. So that just really ticked me off that they bullied them. So from that time on, I think that was about 2011, I vowed never to give Cricut another red cent, and I have not. I have not bought a single Cricut product since then. I buy Roland blades. They're a generic blade. They're cheaper to cut with my Cricut. I buy actually, it was Sizzix Eclipse mats and Sizzix Eclipse blades that I started with because I realized they fit my Cricut machine, and that's what I have. I just wash them and reuse them, like spray them if I need to, and I get generic blades when I need to because I will not give them another penny. That ticked me off so bad. So then a couple of years later, when I saw that they were going off cartridge based and all the machines would have to be hooked to the internet to use, I thought, oh no, they're gonna be pulling some shenanigans because I just don't trust that company. And sure enough, last week, and when they came out with these web-based machines, which a lot of people were really nervous about because they're like, well, what if I'm at a crop and I don't have Wi-Fi? I'm not going to be able to use my machine because you can't cut anything unless you have it, unless you're on their cloud software. So you have to like be logged onto their, I don't have an account with them, so I don't really know how it works, but you have to have an internet connection. You have to use it online. You can't use it on your computer. There's no downloadable option, which I would say make a downloadable option so people can store it on their computer and, you know, they can update it if they want to. They can, you know, use their stuff offline. Because I live in rural Maine. It's not a stretch to think that we won't have internet for days at a time. If we lose power, our internet's out, which is crazy. We have a generator, but the internet's not going to be back if we don't have power. I might be able to get online with my cell phone, but I wouldn't want to be using up a ton of data on that, and that's not even on my computer, that's on my phone. So I can understand why people are nervous on that. I would not purchase a machine myself that you would have to be on the internet to use. So last Friday, and by the way, Cricut is up for an IPO, which means they want to be publicly traded on the stock market, so they've got to make their books look really good. And by the way, they've doubled their profit during the pandemic, I heard, so they are not hurting, to use a colloquial term. They're doing quite well. And they said that in their software update, they front load it with, they send an email to all their customers. They front load it with all the good things that they're going to be adding to the software. And at the end, they say all members that are on the free plan will only be able to upload 20 images a month, unless they pay $10 a month for Cricut Premium or whatever they call their premium service. And people were outraged. I would be outraged because when they started selling those machines, they said it will always be free to upload unlimited images. And these are images that people design. They like go onto their computer and they design something in Inkscape or in Adobe Illustrator or in Corel or whatever they use for vector designing. They design something there, they make it the way they want it, but because they can't cut natively from their computer, they have to be online, they have to upload it onto Cricut's website, which who knows what they do when you upload your designs on their website. Do they keep it? Do they sell it? Do they claim copyright on it? I don't know. I don't know what they do. I don't trust them. But anyway, they have to upload it to the website in order to cut it. So when you're uploading a project, say you're having a birthday party, you want to make some party favors and you want to make some cupcake wrappers and you want to make some invitations, you want to make some buntings, you could use up those 20 uploads in a day easily. If you make a mistake and you have to redesign it and upload it again, there you go, more uploads. So it'd be very easy to use up 20 uploads, and that just seems such a bait and switch when you've sold these machines saying unlimited uploads, cut all you want, as much as you want, and then say, no, you can only do 20 things unless you want to pay us. And if you've had this machine, you know, if you plan on using this machine for, 3 more years, you're going to pay, almost $400 to just use the machine you already bought and paid for, in addition to all the Cricut products you bought to go with your machine, to cut on your machine. I just think it's just really disgusting. So then they came out a couple days ago, and this is what I did the video yesterday on, because I wanted to warn all you guys to make sure that if you have a Cricut machine, if it's sitting in a closet somewhere and you've never been like brave enough to use it, that you actually plug it in and register it, because then they said that any existing customers and their existing machines that are registered and they have an account on Cricut, those machines and those customers will be grandfathered. Not like the customers if they bought a machine in the future, it would be the ones that register that machine by the end of the year. So they were going to grandfather in all of those current customers with machines. Now, if your machine broke and you got a new machine after the 31st, you would probably be in paying a monthly subscription for that. Different influential Cricut influencers asked about that, and they would not clarify. They would not confirm that somebody could just make an account now and buy a machine in the future and get the unlimited access, or that if you had a machine and it broke and you got a new machine, if you would be able to get that unlimited access. Well, you can imagine people were ticked. I would have been ticked if I had one of those new machines. I would have been livid. I was ticked off on behalf of my viewers that like to use Cricuts, because I don't crap on a company. Of course, this video, but I don't. I'm like, I'm not gonna yuck on your yum. I'm not gonna poop on your party. You do you. You do what you want to do. You use the products you want to use. I'll use the products I want to use. And I mean, there's one very popular stamping tool out there that I won't use because of some shenanigans I saw the owner pull back when they were new, and I'm like, yep, nope, I'm done. I'm not going anywhere near that company. But other people love the tool. I'm not going to crap on their parade. They can do what they want to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm not going to promote certain companies because I just don't like I have a bad vibe on them, or I've had bad experiences with them, but I don't slam them, and I don't, but I will make my audience aware if I think something looks fishy. So that's what my video yesterday was telling people. If you have one of these machines and you have not registered it, register it so that you are not stuck paying for a subscription to use your own designs. Now, I'm not talking about using Cricut's designs. I mean, yeah, they can charge for that. That's their right. But for you to design your own thing on your computer and upload it just to cut your own things, to have to pay extra when you've been told when you bought the machine that it was free to use forever. Yeah, that's like your printer. That's like buying a printer and buying the ink and the paper and everything for it, and then them coming to you a couple months later and saying, oh, by the way, you can only print 20 photos a month. If you want to print more than that, you're going to have to pay us. You're going to have to buy a subscription. It's like, what? I've already bought the ink. I've already bought the printer. I've already bought the paper from you people. Why do I have to pay a subscription to print my photos? I mean, that would not fly. We'd be kicking our printers to the curb and going with another brand, because that's ridiculous. So last night, I'm like getting cozy into bed, and I'm clicking on the TV on the YouTube to see what I'm going to fall asleep to, because I like to have some chatter when I'm falling asleep to turn off this crazy monkey mind of mine. And I see a video from Sewing Report, and she has a new update, which basically they've rolled everything back, and they're like, okay, our bad, we're going back to the way things were. It's always going to be unlimited with these machines, so sorry about that. We made a mistake. So nothing has really changed except for the fact that they've enraged most of their customers and really broken a lot of trust, because what are they going to pull next? That's all I'm saying. So when you buy a product, I highly encourage you to think about the rights that the company has that's making that product. For instance, let's just take Cricut, for instance, because that's who we've been talking about. They can remotely brick your machine at any time for any reason. Now, I'm not saying they're going to do that. They say they only do that in the event that like there's a defect with your machine and they're sending you out a new one. They will basically render it unworkable from their end, so that you don't try to resell it, or you don't try to, do anything to it. It's supposedly to, deactivate machines that are no longer registered. But I mean, somebody could tick them off. Like if I had a Cricut and they're like, I don't like her, boop, and the next time I go online, the machine is deactivated. They could do that. Their terms of service are very open-ended. Like at any time we can discontinue any software or any product, or we can not support any product we wish in the future. That sort of wording that you see in a lot of terms of use, but they've done it repeatedly. They no longer support the Gypsy. So like with the Gypsy, which I actually like, I still, I might use it from time to time. If something went bad and that fried or it just busted, all of my cartridges are linked to that machine. So even if they still sold them, I wouldn't be able to buy a used Gypsy and hook my cartridges back on, because they've already been linked to a Gypsy. They wouldn't go to that. They've made that so that you can only link it to one machine, which I understand, so that people can't sell off their cartridges and somebody else just buys a Gypsy and then links all these cartridges to it. I mean, I understand that, but it makes it very difficult for an honest consumer to go out their business and do their thing. Like actually, after I got the Gypsy and the Expression, I lent all my cartridges and my personal cutter to a friend, because it's like, well, I bought and paid for it. I have both of these products, it's mine to do what I wish, and I lent it to a friend. So, why not? I got two machines, and that's within my rights. But if somebody I don't know. It just seemed very just a very proprietary and very kind of bite out, like cut off their nose to spite their face type dealings, and I didn't like it. But I couldn't put that video out that I originally recorded because I was saying that, you know, the situation changed. They rolled back their decision, so it was moot. But then on the other hand, I thought it was a really good opportunity to talk about when we purchase something, what are we purchasing? Are we basically renting this machine from the company, or are we actually able to use it however we want? And as machines get more computerized, it's something we definitely have to ask ourselves, because I personally would not buy a machine that I have to hook to the internet. I decided to purchase a Brother Scan and Cut 4 years ago because I wanted something to cut around my images. I don't like fussy cutting. I'm not a great fussy cutter. And I have so many stamp sets, and I don't want to buy dies. Actually, most of them wouldn't even have dies available for them, and it's a real time saver for me. And that's what I use it for. I don't hook it to my computer. I've never hooked it to my computer. In the event that I want to use like fonts and just designs, there's a lot of preloaded designs, and I just use it, and I don't hook it to the computer or the internet. And that's what I want. I don't want something I have to hook to the internet. My sewing machine is manual. There's no computer in it. There's nothing, you know, fancy that I have to worry about breaking. And I don't have to worry about software updates. I don't have to worry about any of that. And I don't have to worry about a company not supporting it anymore because it's as manual as you can get. It's a white jeans machine, if you're curious. It's actually up in Lila's room right now. She's using it more than I am. But that's something I think of if I'm going to buy a stamp set that I want to make cards with for sale. I'm going to check out that stamp company's angel policy and make sure that, yes, I can use that to make cards for sale. So it just is a reminder to make sure what you're buying is really going to be supported, or something that you won't need support with in the future, and that you can do with what you want with the items that you buy. So there was a lot of damage control done, and even though I was feeling like I wasn't having a good day, at least I'm not the person in charge at Cricut, because I'm sure they're having a really bad day. It's just kind of like, it's just infuriating when I see companies trying to take advantage of their customers, their loyal customers. I'm like, what are you thinking? These people have spent thousands of dollars in machines and consumables from you, and then you're going to turn around and charge them a monthly fee to use what they bought and paid for? That's crazy. If it was a matter of them not having enough, not wanting to pay the storage space to have all those designs uploaded onto their cloud, which, by the way, SVG files and fonts are teeny tiny little files. If that was the case, give them a downloadable software option so they don't have to be online to use it, so they can store everything on their computer and it's not taking up space in your cloud. That's just too much control. That's way too much control for a company. So, I mean, I don't really know too much about many die cutters, but I would definitely be suspicious if I had to only use that brand's cloud software. I honestly wouldn't buy a cutting machine unless I could use SureCut's lot. For one thing, I'm not a techie person. I don't like to learn new software if I don't have to. That's why I'm still using Paint Shop Pro and Corel Design Studio Pro, even though they're both very buggy, because I don't want to learn a different software when I already know that one. I want to spend my time painting, not like learning about software. And it's so funny because I will get emails every week from software companies and game companies, but a lot of times it's like video editing and photo editing companies asking me to do, like asking to buy advertising and to do a sponsored video. It's like, no, there's no amount of money you can wave in front of me that's going to want to make me learn your software. I'm sorry. I would still be using Paint Shop Pro and Video Studio Pro if I didn't already know it and am just so stubborn and I don't want to learn a new thing. I only, like, as far as technology, I only learn what I have to learn to do the art stuff that I want to do. It's just not my favorite thing. I don't like sitting behind a computer and being stuck behind a computer and at a desk doing that sort of thing. But anyway, yeah, so that was that. Oh, so I did go to Michael's. So it opened last Friday, opened a week ago. And all I bought was this $2 stamp set. Isn't it cute though? It's like Woodland Critters. Woodland Critters, it's a Craft Smart. It's one of those buy the cash out. My girls bought some stuff though. They each got a paint by number and some like decor things. And I was talking to the girls in the car afterwards, and Maisie says, I think they're catering more to our age. And I'm like, that's interesting. So that's interesting. Do you think the craft stores are catering more to like a teen, early 20s group? I don't know. I am kind of annoyed about the 3 aisles of Cricut merchandise I see in all the big box stores and even Walmart. It's like, really, there's so many other crafts. There's so many other creative things. There's so many art forms. You know, yeah, I'm making no fans of Cricut. I don't think many people on YouTube are making fans with Cricut this week because it's just, it was, yeah, I was really ticked off because I get so many comments on videos where people are saying, I got a Cricut for Christmas, but it's just sitting in the closet. I've never taken it out of the box because I'm afraid to use it. And to be fair, they'll say that about the Brother Scan and Cut, and they'll say it about Silhouette and things like that. They're intimidated and they're afraid to take it out of the box. So that was why I recorded that video saying, just hook it up. If you're going to use it, you need to register it or you're going to be limited. So there's that. So basically, that's that in a nutshell, I guess. So I will have the ChromaFlow video review ready for you next week. This is, I did this yesterday with the ChromaFlow pencils. I really liked them. The more I used them, it took me a while. I had to do a bunch of different tests and projects with them because I was kind of like, why do these exist? You know, there's so many other pencils by Derwent. Why these? Why are these out? How are they different from Colorsoft? They're very similar to Colorsoft. It's like, I was trying to just figure out, they're not that much different in price. I just couldn't figure out why they are here, why they've been, you know, why they've been released. So it did take me quite a few comparisons and using them side by side and stuff to actually get that review done. But that will be up probably Monday, I think, and I will be having a free class coming up in May, and I'll share a link when we get closer, when I actually have the link to share. But let's see, is that getting totally blown out by the light? I don't know. But this is Inktense, and yeah, that's actually a class I'll be doing. I guess I could tell you. I mean, I don't know if it's a secret. Oh, maybe I shouldn't. You know what? Well, let's keep a little mystery alive in this relationship. I'll tell you about that later. But anyway, that is that. And yeah, it's so funny. I have so many like things in the, not in the can yet. They're actually, I have so much footage in my computer for like videos that I did not voice over. They're more like colored pencils, things that I did just to test out different products that I need to voice over probably for future Sketchbook Sundays. But with this one here, it actually was deceptively easy and quick. So I'm thinking of I can either time lapse the footage that I took, because it's still probably like an hour. So it's not like it's not like quick YouTube quick. It's quick like, you know, colored pencil quick. And I'm debating whether or not I want to time lapse it and put it up on a Sketchbook Sunday, or if I want to live stream it and just do a live stream. I'm just so I don't know. I get very nervous about live streams because I can have everything planned out, and I plan my live streams down to the minute, really. And I plan it so there's no dead air and no waste. And when I get a technical error that just like, where the picture isn't clear or there's problems and I'm distracted by that, that just drives me bananas. It just really, really irritates me. I'm usually someone that can like go with the flow. Well, no, let's not lie. But you know, I usually can go with the flow in my art really well, but when I have technical difficulties, it just really aggravates me, and it just ruins it. It just ruins it for me. So I'm debating. Let me know what you think about that, live stream or time lapse. And anything else? I did save some mask strings, so we're one step closer to that project. And I just released a project of what I made with these things from the Dollar Tree, so make sure you check that out. It was posted yesterday on my YouTube channel. That's all for today. I've got 10 seconds left on this file, so I'm going to say adieu. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, happy spring, and enjoy the warm weather if you have it. Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye.